Got it. Hello, everyone. I think we're live. It's always hard to tell on Facebook with Zoom. Give me a moment while I set up this live stream here and make sure that you guys have access to everything. If you are here, drop a comment. Let me know you have found it. Paste that, post that. We'll get rolling here in about 1 minute. Not long at all. I need to pull up the live stream so I can see the comments. All right. Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about marketing, and we are going to dive into what are your marketing staples, like your non-negotiable primary marketing strategies. We're going to talk about specifically niching and really like why that's important, how to go about doing it, some of the options you have for defining your niche. And then I have a great worksheet for you. You got it in the email this morning that will help you walk through that and help you create a statement that that will be part of your overall marketing strategy. So let's talk first about the 3 most essential marketing strategies. I consider these things to be non-negotiable. One is having a niche of some kind, right? And we'll talk about what the options are for that. The next one is having a website or an online presence, preferably a website. And then you can have other online presences as well, things like, directory profiles and such. But your website is going to be the place where you get to control how you present yourself. And in the long run, it can be the place where you find the majority of your referrals. At this point, about 90% of my referrals come directly through my website. So over time, as you build a great website, that will allow you to really take control of your marketing and get found by your ideal clients. The last one is networking. And as much as some of us prefer not to network or to, we consider ourselves introverts, there are a lot of different ways that we can network that don't just include one-to-one meetings or going to like groups and stuff. And so I'll touch a little bit about that because everything, between your website and your networking, everything is informed by your niche. And so for me, that's the place to start. When we start with our niche, we can then inform how we go about doing the other marketing efforts. And we can do them in a more strategic way. We're going to do them in a more effective way. And it really will help build the practice, right? So as therapists, we have this idea that we're not good at marketing or that marketing doesn't feel good. And that's actually we are actually trained to be great marketers, right? We're trained to connect. We are natural connectors. We are empathizers. We have all of the essential pieces to being great at marketing. I think what happens is that we get this idea that marketing is selling and that we're not here to sell people. And we're like that sleazy car salesman. We're like trying to push something on people that maybe they don't want or need. And that's not at all how marketing works when it's effective. When we're doing effective marketing, what we're doing is we're making ourselves visible to the people that need us. And when we're doing it like that, we're coming from a place of marketing with service, from a place of service. When we think about marketing from a place of service, what we're doing is we're helping the clients that need our help find us. And we all know how horribly difficult it is to find a therapist, right? If you've ever looked for a therapist for yourself, especially as a therapist, it is hard. And we know what we're doing. Imagine somebody who's not looked for therapy before or has had, not had great experiences looking for a therapist, trying to find the right therapist for them, for what they're dealing with and for what they're wanting to change. When you make yourself visible and findable, you are doing a service to the clients. You are doing a service to everyone, but you are doing a service specifically to the clients that need to find you. And so unless we make ourselves visible and we do it in a clear and authentic way, then how are they supposed to find us, right? So start thinking about marketing from this place of service, from this place of making the client's life better by allowing them to find you, and even more specifically, to know whether or not you're the right therapist for them. Therapist or clients should know when they see your stuff, whether you're going to be a good fit for them or not, as best as you can. It's not always going to be perfect, but ideally, you want clients to be able to very quickly determine if this person is potentially a good therapist for me or not. Think about when you're looking for a therapist. You're looking for somebody who has expertise in a specific area, who has a certain approach, who has a particular personality, right, that you know would work for you. And as an educated consumer of therapy, you kind of know what you're looking for. Most of our clients are not quite that savvy, right? And so we want to make it easy for them to be able to know that they are in the right place when they find us. So for me, that's really nailing down our niche and understanding who it is we serve well, who it is we serve best, and then being able to market directly to them because it makes it easier for them to know that they found the right person to help them. That also involves some amount of showing yourself, right? And depending on the population that you serve and the niche you serve, that's going to vary in how much is appropriate. In some cases, it might be very appropriate to bring yourself into it a lot. In other cases, there might be just small amounts of how you operate as a therapist, but you still want to bring that in, how you operate, how you help as a therapist. So that can be a spectrum as well, but there's going to be some element of you that you're going to want to bring into your marketing because you are the one that is going to be doing the therapy, and your brand of therapy is unique to anybody else's. Your niche, again, your niche informs all other marketing activities. Often I think we kind of start with the networking or we start with a website, but we don't really define who we serve first or how we help them. Now, why it's important to pick a niche or a few, we can have more than one. It's clear who to refer to you. So if I'm networking with somebody, I want to know exactly who to refer to them. And when somebody I'm networking with can very clearly state, like, this is who I serve, this is how I help them, and we do great work together, I am much more likely to refer people to them. One, because I'm going to think of them when that client crosses my path. And two, because I trust that they're going to do great work with them, not just like pretty good work, but great work. It's easier to rank higher on Google with a niche. When you define who you serve well, Google will see that and they will be better able to match your website to the results of people searching for things that you offer. It is easier to attract private pay clients because they're looking for an expert. And when you are an expert in what they're struggling with, they're much more likely to pay privately. Here in the greater Sacramento area in California, I was looking to get my son into occupational therapy a while back. I got a referral for an insurance-based occupational therapy office. First of all, the wait is like months, like a year sometimes. So it's highly impacted. I can't get him in. Second, like, I know that they're going to be like therapists for all kinds of presenting problems. Whereas the occupational therapists we're paying privately for, they really specialize in sensory processing and sensory related stuff. And they have a great deal of depth of knowledge in sensory processing and particularly sensory seeking, which is what my son struggles with. And so I chose to pay privately for something that I could get through insurance. Why? Because I know it was a better fit for my son and it was a better fit for our family. I was looking for an expert, and I found that. This is also one of the other reason we pick a niche and why it's good for us in our business and in our marketing is that these are the clients that we're going to get into flow with. These are the clients that we're going to come away from our therapy sessions feeling like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, right? Not every session, but in general, when you have a niche, when you have a target client that you are working with, you are going to come away from more and more sessions feeling like that was amazing. I'm good at my job. When you're trying to serve all different kinds of people, it's more likely that you're going to struggle to find flow. You're going to question if you're doing it right. You're also going to be pulled to stretch in a lot of different directions to learn and grow. And the reality is that we have capacities, right? We have a limited capacity. There's a limited amount of time in the day. So part of creating balanced practice is honing in how you spend your time growing and learning and stretching yourself as a clinician. And by claiming a niche or two or three, you are narrowing those paths where you get to dive deeper and be even more of an expert in those paths. Now, just to be clear, your niche can evolve, right? You are a human, you will evolve. You can add things, you can take things away, you can adjust, you can evolve, you can shift. And that's all fine and good, right? We expect that to happen. That's going to happen over the course of your career. So picking a niche doesn't pigeonhole you by any means. Now, there are a few different ways you can do niches. I think for a lot of us, we start by thinking about problem-focused niches, right? I'm going to focus on anxiety, or I'm going to focus on trauma, or I'm going to focus on eating disorders. That is one of the ways that you can choose a niche. There are also other ways that you can choose a niche. One of the ways that I did it was really focusing on the person that I love to serve. I really love anxious, overachieving, people pleaser types of people. And I love the clients that want more depth-oriented work, where we're going to look at their childhood, and we're going to look at their patterns, and we're going to look at their unconscious. And so in my marketing, I have niched down to serving that client. Now, I have also chosen some presenting issues that come along with it, like couples work, or a lifestyle niche, law enforcement spouse, like an identity niche. So there are various ways. So the problem they're coming with, who they are as a person, the outcome that they're looking for, that can also be a niche. How you practice your approach can be a niche. An identity, a life circumstance, something like that can be a niche. So there's lots of different ways that you can niche yourself. The idea here is that we're going to look at the people that we do great work with. We're going to look at the common threads between them. And there might be a few different common threads. Like for me, I have my anxious overachievers, I have my law enforcement spouses, I have my couples, and most recently I added entrepreneurial women. They all have similarities, and they also have some differences. And by looking at where they're similar and where they're different, I can determine how I can market effectively to each of them. And that will also inform some of the other marketing activities I do, like networking. If I want to work with law enforcement spouses, then it behooves me to market or network with people that serve law enforcement directly. Generally speaking, they're going to be focused on the officer. I'm going to be focused on the law enforcement spouse. And so now they have someone to send that person to. If I do couples work with law enforcement couples, and I know somebody that works with individual law enforcement officers, that's also a great networking option, right? And so who I serve is going to inform who I network with and who I connect with, that they are adjacent to me, that they encounter the population that I serve, and I encounter the population that they serve. So that helps inform my networking efforts. So now that we have an idea of the different ways we can niche, sometimes we kind of feel like it's all over the place, right? So if you're feeling really overwhelmed with this idea, what I'd love to do is just pick a few of your clients that you just love working with, who you just absolutely adore, and write down a bunch of stuff about them, why they came, what they want, who they are as a person, what's common about them, or like what stands out about them. And you can do this for several different clients. And as you do this for different clients, you can then start seeing the themes. What are some of the common themes that come up between them? What are some of the common complaints? Are there differences between them? Because that might help you pick apart these different niches, right? Kind of just get it all out. And then once it's all out, take a break from it and then come back and look at it. Or even maybe like, as long as it's confidential, you can run this by like a colleague of yours. Again, making sure that all the information is completely confidential. But if you can write down the themes generically about the clients that you serve, about what's common about them, about the things that light you up that you get excited about, then having another set of eyes can help you actually pick apart the commonalities and the differences, and better start to define what these niches are. Now, in our worksheet that I provided for you guys, I kind of help you walk through this. So in that, like with this worksheet, what we're going to be doing is identifying who do you serve, who your niche is, or what your niche is, and then creating a statement about them that is clear and concise that you can put on your website, you can put on your directory profile, you can say in your networking, you can post as a part of like your Facebook marketing posts, things like that, that make it very clear who you serve and who to refer to you. So in this worksheet, that first question is, who do you serve? Who are they? Whether it's their problem, their person, their identity, how they are, what their complaint is or what they want. Who or what do you serve? And really just brain dump on that. Now, how do your clients describe the reason they're coming for therapy? And this right here, this is probably one of the most impactful exercises that you can do. I want you to write down in your client's words, why are they coming to therapy? What are they here for? What do they want? What are they complaining about? We talk about this idea of like, what actually prompts somebody to go ahead and ask for therapy? Can I tell you how many times I have woken up to an email that a potential client sent at like 1 or 2 a.m. And I'm like, dang, they must have been like in their head at 2 a.m. that they were like searching for a therapist and emailed me, right? Imagine what it is like in their head at 2 a.m., right? Like as they're searching for a therapist and they pick you and they email you. What is happening for them? Can you describe that? Can you describe that in their words? That kind of stuff is actually like so powerful when we think about how to describe what our clients are suffering from, or, like what our ideal client is struggling with. When we can put it in their words, it's super powerful. Anne commented that she knows what she doesn't want to do. That is also really good information. So you can put it and like brainstorm on a separate piece of paper, like, what do I not want to do? Right. Because then we start narrowing. If you don't want to do couples, then you're not thinking about couples. So you can start narrowing down the things you don't want to do, which can help clarify the things that you might want to do or the common themes, right? And again, this idea of like areas I don't want to work with, but like, is there a person that you want to work with? Is there an outcome that you really enjoy helping clients achieve? Is there a style that you really like doing with clients? And then like, who would want that style? Like who might be the person looking for that, and how do you target them? Right. So it doesn't even have to be an area you do or don't want to work with. It can be a person, it can be a strategy, it can be an approach, it can be all those different things, right? So the more you can write down, coming back to this, like in the client's words, the more you can describe the problem or the reason for coming to therapy in the client's words, the better you're going to be able to connect with the client. And then also in that, you can, the next question, which follows, right, is what do they want? What does your ideal client, what does that person who you find yourself like coming away from session feeling like, wow, this was a great session. What do they want? What do they want from therapy? What do they want to achieve? What do they want out of therapy? What do they want in the process? Like, what do they want from the approach of therapy? How do they want to feel after they've succeeded in therapy or as a result of therapy? Again, in their words, right? And then the last question is, how do you help them get there? I tend to be sort of a mix of really direct and psychodynamic. And so I've put words to how I help that is both like hard hitting and direct, but also very like depth oriented. And, through that, you can think about, well, what is it that I do? How do I work? What do I help? And how do I go about doing that? For some people, that'll be really clear. I do ACT or I do EFT. Now, with that, it's not enough to just put, I do acceptance commitment therapy, right? What you want to do is, how do I help them in plain language, right? If someone didn't know what acceptance commitment therapy was, how would you explain it in one sentence or in a few words? We need to describe what we do, as if we were talking to somebody who doesn't know what it is, or even maybe to like a kid, right? Make it simple. make it easy to understand in very plain language, because our clients don't know the terminology. And that's not what they're going to connect with, right? One of the things I say on my website is that I like to leave my clients with something tangible to walk away with every session. Now, that doesn't mean I'm handing them homework, right? But I'm giving them something to hold on to between sessions. And that's something that I really value in my approach. And my clients come and appreciate that, because I've said, this is something I do. And the people that are an ideal fit for me want that. They appreciate that. They enjoy that. And so that last piece of like, how do I help them get there, is really you defining like what makes you different as a therapist and how you help your clients. And how can you describe that in a way that will connect to the client? Okay, so what this sets us up to do is to really define our marketing messages in what's the problem they're coming with, what do they hope to achieve, and how do I get them there, right? This follows the like pain, like outcome and bridge, right? So there's a struggle, they have a thing they want, and I'm here to help you. So not only are you defining your niche, but you're actually refining your marketing messages through this worksheet. All right, so once you have that stuff together, I provided you with some options for how to create a statement about your niche. And again, this is something that helps you define in very clear language, in a very short sentence or two, who you serve, struggling with what, hoping to achieve what, and by helping them, like by doing this kind of thing, right? And you don't always have to have all of those things in there, right? If I'm telling somebody they work with law enforcement spouses, that's about all they need to know, right? I work with law enforcement spouses, and if they want to know more, they can ask. In my niche statement on my marketing materials, like my website, my site today, it's a little bit more expanded, right? I'm talking about their experience. I'm talking about who I serve. I'm talking about how I help them. But this will help you better define it. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop in the comments. Happy to answer them. Let's see here. So I just want to drive home this idea that like your niche doesn't have to be a diagnosis. It doesn't have to be a problem. It can be a lot of different things. And I've seen a lot of different things work. But they're by narrowing the field of who you're marketing to, you're going to catch more fish, right? This idea that if I try to please everyone, then maybe I'll get more, right? The problem is that you're not going to stand out and you're not going to connect. You're not going to connect to that ideal client. Again, think back to you looking for a therapist or you looking for a specialist. Who stands out to you? Who do you say, yes, I want to work with you? And how do you become that person for your ideal client? Because when your ideal client comes to therapy with you, you're going to provide them better therapy. So not only is our niche about marketing well, but it's about providing great clinical care. When your ideal clients are able to find you, you're going to do better therapy. They're going to have better outcomes. You're going to feel better about your business and about yourself as a therapist as well. And so having a niche, having something that you narrow in on it serves everyone. All right, question in the comments. There is a worksheet. Yeah, if you don't have the worksheet, it got sent out in an email to my email list and to the challenge email list this morning. But if you need it, if you didn't get it or you need it, just hit me up in the DMs, send me an email, I'll send it to you. No problem at all. So I would love for you guys to come into the group and share about your niche. Share if you're struggling to define it. Share if you're feeling fear about defining it. If you create a statement that you want to get feedback on, please come in and share that in the group also, right? We're here to support you. I'm here to support you. The other thing, I want to say is that on Monday, I do have a live Q&A coming up, right? So, challenge participants, you got an email this morning. And if you want to get some live coaching, reply to me, let me know what you want some coaching on. If you're willing to come in live on Monday during the time, I would love to have you. And you can get a little bit of live coaching. Yes, it will be live streamed in the public group. So thank you for your bravery ahead of time. But I'm really looking forward to doing that. If you have any questions that you want me to coach on, I can definitely, and you're not able to show up live, email me anyway, definitely message me and I can answer your questions. I can give you some feedback. I can give you some coaching, and the replay will be available. And what that leads me to is that if you're looking for more help with this stuff, I have Practice by Design open. Again, the card is open today. So Practice by Design opens today. That is it is a lifetime access 12-week group coaching program. Let me explain. So it is 12 weeks of group coaching. And then the program is designed to have a 12-week cycle. There is recorded content, short bite-sized lessons, power-packed. I get straight to the point. I give you packed full of information. There's worksheets, there's handouts, there's guides. And again, I kept it simple. I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with a lot of information. I try to keep it simple to like, what do you absolutely need? And what is going to be most impactful for you? So you get lifetime access to the program content and any future updates. You get lifetime access to the private Facebook group. You get lifetime access to future group coaching rounds. And you get that 12 weeks of group coaching that starts up on February 9th. And the early bird price starts today. So I'm going to pop a link to the sales page in the comments. Please come and ask questions if you have any questions about the program. But it has been such a cool and impactful program for this first round of participants. They are getting ideal clients. They are, targeting their marketing. They're feeling confident. They're getting comfortable with money. We talk a lot about money and finances. We talk a lot about marketing strategy. And really like help each other through that stuff. Everybody gets targeted feedback. And I'm here for you to support you every step of the way in either starting or growing your practice, right? So we have people in Practice by Design who are both brand new at private practice and just opening. And we have people that have been in private practice for a few years and are looking to like hone and refine their practice. And this program works for both of you, right? Whether you're building or rebuilding, this is for you. Now, if you have any questions about whether or not it's a good fit for you and your particular goals, I'm happy to talk about it. I'll be honest, there are a few people that have contacted me where they're like, this is my goal, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, this is not the program for you. Here's something else that will serve you better. Sometimes that's not with me, right? My goal at any given moment is to connect you with the resources and the support that are going to help you be successful in your practice. And so at any moment, you can reach out to me and I will connect you to the thing that is going to help you. That said, the early bird price is going to be good until Tuesday at midnight. This coming Tuesday, the 31st at midnight. The price will be going up after that permanently. So grab it at this price. It's a screaming deal. I got to tell you, it's a screaming deal for lifetime support. And then the cart closes all together on Friday, February 3rd. So 8 days to get in and join us for this next round. It won't be opening again till June. So if you're somebody who thinks that sometime between now and June, you want to start or grow your practice, you're interested in getting small group support, then jump in. Again, I'll be available to answer any questions. And if you want some live coaching, let me know. If you have questions you want coaching on, just anything about private practice, hit me up, message me, email me, and I will be doing that live Q&A on Monday. I'll answer your questions. The replays will be available. Thank you for coming through this challenge with me. And let me know what your takeaway is from today with your niche. All right. I'll see you guys in the group. Bye.